Okay, guys, this is going to be a little bit tough. It might not apply to you, and if it doesn't, great. But if it does, it does, and we don't shy away from this stuff. You know? Like I tell you always, I promise you, this is a judgment-free zone, but it's also an excuse-free zone. So, Module 8, Lesson 2 is about alcohol. And if you're a diabetic, you know what alcohol does once it gets in your bloodstream. It jacks your sugar up. But let's get really honest for a minute here, okay? If you have a serious problem right now with alcohol, you know, I have some people in my family that are fighting alcohol. If you have a real serious problem right now with alcohol, chances are you're not fit to be, you know, fixing your blood sugar right now. I'm be honest, we've all been in this position where we have something in our life that's distracting us and we literally can't get away from it. You know, it's a sad situation. When I was probably 22 years old, for some reason I started getting kidney stones. I passed, I'd say over like a period of 10-15 years, I probably passed 30 kidney stones. Biggest one being an 8mm kidney stone. And you already know what this led to. I mean, this started happening back when OxyContin was first talked about, you know? And I just had doctors just giving me pain medicine. Giving it to me. And I didn't, you know what I didn't have? I didn't have one doctor say to me, hey buddy, be careful with this stuff. It can be addictive. Not one doctor ever said that to me. So they just kept giving me the pain medicine, and then when they stopped giving it to me and I was deathly ill and I went to them for help, they said, oh, you're addicted. There's nothing we can do for you. And I'm like, wait, you got me this way. Please help me. And there was nothing they could do. There's this famous guy, he did a TED Talk. He went through the exact same thing. As soon as you go to a doctor and say, hey, I got a problem, they don't want to deal with you at all. You're a liability. But I did it anyways. It was literally before I hit rock bottom. I went to the doctor and was like, look, you cannot prescribe this to me anymore. And they were like, look, are you sure you want to tell me this? Because you'll never get this prescribed to you again. And you'll be blacklisted forever. And you'll never get pain medicine again. And I was like, I'm sure. That's why I'm here saying it. So they sent me to a doctor that put me on Suboxone. And I was able to use that to turn around from pain medicine, walk away, never look back at the pain medicine again. In fact, about 8 or 9 years after I got off, I had a machining accident where I almost chopped 3 of my fingertips off. It broke the 3 top knuckles basically into dust. I had to wear little cages on them for like 6 months. And my Suboxone doctor, I was like, at the beginning I was real honest with them. They had given me stitches that literally went through my fingernails. And I told my Suboxone doctor, I said, look dude, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I have legitimate pain. And he knew. You know, I was going in every 2 weeks at that time for a drug test. And after years, I had never once failed a drug test because I wasn't getting the Suboxone to tide me over until I could do drugs. I was getting the Suboxone so I didn't do drugs, to kill those cravings, you know? And my Suboxone doctor was a great dude. He said, I believe you on that pain. And he talked to the doctor and said, look, give him Percocet for 5 days. And when he's done with that, I'll get him back onto the Suboxone. And that's what we did. I took it until I was done with it. And I went straight back onto the Suboxone, no hiccup, and it's been probably 7 years since I've had any pain medicine like that. I've been to the hospital with kidney stones. I have been there when I had the stroke and I had to get the PFO. I was at the hospital for a catheterization where they took the PFO closure up through my groin. I was awake for the whole thing. It was hurting really bad, and I remember being on the emergency room or on the operating table telling the doctor, I'm really having pain, I'm having pain. And he's like, hold on, buddy, I'll help you out. And I was like, I can't have narcotics. I still remember that day, and he's like, okay. And I remember afterwards, the worst part was laying on my back for 8 hours. And I was like, you know, I can't take this anymore. This is like 6 hours on my back. And he's like, look, I can give you something for the pain. And I was like, well, I can't. And he was like, I know, you can't. He laughed. He was like, I know, you can't have a narcotic, man. I was like, no. He was like, I'll give you some Tylenol. I was like, okay. And the crazy thing is, Tylenol works now. You know? When I was taking pain medicine before, nothing, like even a headache, nothing would touch it. But since I don't do that stuff anymore, and haven't for years, I take Tylenol for a headache, and guess what? Fucking helps my headache. That's the crazy part. Helps my headache. So, the alcohol thing, while I understand it, I'm just saying, you know, there's really, I don't know how, I can't see how you're going to get your diabetes under control if you're actively drinking. So, I mean, come on. If you want to reach out to me, I'll talk to you about the alcohol, and I'll give you all the advice I can. I'll give you all the hard, strong love that I can. But like I said, man, there's no judgment, but there's no excuses. So, you know, this is a little bit of a different tone on this one. Thought it was going to be a lot more awkward than it was, but I think opening up about the troubles that I have faced helped me out a lot. So, alright, I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you in Module 8, Lesson 3.